With me now, Shan Wu, a CNN legal analyst and a former federal prosecutor, and CNN legal enforcement and law enforcement analyst James Galliano, a retired FBI supervisory special agent. Wow, mouthful. Hello to both of you.
How you doing?
All right, so I'm good. So James, you first, walk us through what these FBI agents are tasked with. Is it a matter of knocking on doors, making phone calls? How do they go about this?
Well, I think the Washington Post is just reporting now that that Ms. Ramirez has now been contacted, and I anticipated that was. Yes, I anticipated that was going to happen. Before the president made the decision that, hey, the FBI should get involved, before Senator Flake made his dramatic position known yesterday and kind of shook things up on the Senate Judiciary Committee, I can tell you Director Wray and his senior executives were already putting into place how they were going to handle this. This is going to be handled as a special inquiry investigation, which means the consequence of this investigation, because it pertains to a Supreme Court justice and a suitability or fitness for the position investigation, is going to be exhaustive. Now, FBI agents are going to knock on doors. They're going to take things that came out during the hearings. They're going to look at the calendar that Judge Kavanaugh provided, and they're going to do all due diligence to get to the bottom of whether or not these allegations are true.
Okay, so they're going to follow up as well on people that Christine Blasey Ford, testified to. She talked about and painted a picture about people that she thought may be there. They'll be following up and reaching out to some of those people. And then Deborah Ramirez, just for folks who are trying to get familiar with everybody, she went to school with Kavanaugh in Yale, and she is alleging that he exposed herself. He exposed himself to her. And so, Shan, you also co-wrote an opinion piece in The Hill, and you were also writing that it really would be a shame for investigators to rush this. It would entail also bringing in some experts as it pertains to, sexual assault allegations. What do you mean?
Well, we felt that it would be very helpful for the testimony if they would first hear from trauma experts. There's a lot of understandable misunderstandings as to why anybody would delay for such a long time. And actually, the fact is, it's well documented that survivors often delay, particularly survivors who were as young as Dr. Ford was. She was only 15, as you know, Fred. And it would be very helpful if the committee would first hear from those experts to give them some context so they could ask informed questions. Perhaps that would have obviated the need for them to bring in the prosecutor Mitchell to ask the questions.
And then, James, so there have already been 6 FBI background checks on Kavanaugh. The president tweeting today this would now be the 7th one. How might this differ from what typically is a background check that goes back to, what, say, age 18, but now we're talking about allegations when he was 17 years old?
So let's break this down. So FBI agents are going to put together 302s, which are testimonial documents. They're going to interview all the folks that we all know are attached to Ms. Ford's claims, as well now as Ms. Ramirez's claims. Now, I understand why people are arguing this has to be limited in scope, because what could possibly happen, not that this would ever happen in America, but political motivations, people coming out of the woodwork, we can't turn this into a Fred, I think we're going to hear the term moving the goalpost frequently through the next week. So I think the FBI is going to be hyper-focused on Mrs. Ford's testimony and also on Ms. Ramirez. They're going to uncover and turn over every stone. But remember, FBI agents will not be able to determine veracity or truth. They're simply going to write down exactly what was related to them. And another hurdle here is people that they go seek to interview can tell them thanks but no thanks. And the only thing that could compel those people to testify would be a subpoena from Congress, or if the state, meaning Montgomery County, Maryland, decided if a charge was actually filed there, they could possibly use a grand jury subpoena. But this is going to be difficult. If people don't want to cooperate, the FBI cannot compel them to do so.
And Shan, do you have a lot of confidence that this investigation is going to bring any more, solidified detail to assist these senators in their decision making?
It should. I mean, most of these allegations have already been made public. But as James is pointing out, this is going to make it a formal part of the record. People who have already spoken can be interviewed, and their statements will be put into the record in a formal way rather than just reading about it in the newspapers. And also to the point about Montgomery County, that does speak to a potential legal jeopardy on the part of the judge. Certainly Mark Judge, the person who is alleged to have been in the room, may take the Fifth Amendment, because from the allegations he could be considered an aider or abettor, even someone who took part in the assault. So there's definitely legal jeopardy for Judge Kavanaugh. I don't think he's going to take the Fifth. I mean, he is completely all in on this, and he's just going to go for it and try and get through.
All right, Ishan Wu, James Galliano, thanks so much to both of you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Fred.